What is good? Welcome back. We are live and we have another Superflex TE Premium startup mock for your pleasure. Now, the premium is 1.5, and free agency has bestowed upon us some really solid player movement. So I'm interested to see how some of this may affect some players in tonight's mock. Where will Justin Fields be taken? Dun, dun, dun.
Not.
Barkley, Jacobs, Swift, Pollard, Spears, some running backs that come to mind here. As for some of the wide receivers, how's the Deontay Johnson trade affected his value? Hollywood to Kansas City, where does that land him in the ADP? Mooney gets a bump back into relevance? Question mark. So a lot of questions, a lot of fun here. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure. Are you seeing the clock? It looks like the clock might be, it starts at a minute and then jumps down to 23 seconds for some reason. So I'm not really sure what's going on. I don't know if that's just on my end or if that's on everybody else's end, but I did check. It says 60 seconds on the settings.
I got to sneeze.
So right off the rip, we have Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, CJ Stroud. You know, fairly chalky. No Jalen Hurts, no Joe Burrow. So Lamar going a little early, Stroud going a little early, leaving some wiggle room. Where are we going to get the first wide receiver? But I am really, really intrigued to see what happens with Justin Fields here, because this is a guy who, you know, averaged around 3.5 in our ADP for a lot of the offseason. And we've had plenty of conversations surrounding Justin Fields about excellent fantasy player. But, you know, once you're on your second stop, you know, if your second stop doesn't go well, you're on your third stop. And now where's your fantasy relevance lie? We know that if he's on the field, he's going to score some points. So now we have a little bit of a weird situation. You know, Bears may have fumbled the bag a little bit on how to move him a little bit, but everybody was delusional on what the price was going to be for Justin Fields. You know, I think fantasy has delusions of grandeur on some folks. You know, you look around and you don't see a whole lot of, you know, just okay maybes traded for, you know, first or second round picks in the NFL draft. So, you know, I always thought it would be somewhere in the 3 and the 4. Maybe you could stretch a 2 with some sort of picks flip back, but waiting around could be a 4th. We shall see. But let's catch up with the rest of this draft here. We got Caleb Williams going 1.5. We got some hot fire going off in the beginning here. Justin Herbert 1.6, Justin Jefferson at 1.7, Jalen Hurts at 1.8. I know Big D's excited about that. And then Joe Burrow at 1.9, Jamar Chase at 1.10. So these guys in the back end, maybe even starting off with an unfair advantage, because remember, we're going to get that third round reversal. So, you know, in those spots, you're usually having to be like, all right, am I going to take Caleb or am I going to take Anthony Richardson here in the back half of the draft? Whereas you just kind of shored up really, really solid dynasty value here with 1.9 and 1.8 being Burrow and Hurts. And you know, we've seen Herbert kind of sliding down there. Herbert been a big buy for me all off season. If anybody's going to downplay Herbert and what could possibly be with that offense moving forward, when I just think Herbert's a bona fide stud and Harbaugh's going to turn that thing around. I'm okay with a little less attempts if the attempts are going to be more meaningful and they're going to be actually moving the ball and not an ill-coached team who makes a lot of silly mistakes. And you know, just Chargers also seem to have been plagued a little bit for however long. So if there's any room to buy some Justin Herbert, he has been somebody who I have been sending offers for. No luck as of yet to tell you what I have gotten for Herbert. It seems like there's a lot of people talking, but not a lot of people actually selling. So I think that's usually the case with the bigger higher end guys. Then we get CeeDee Lamb going 1.11 and Richardson kind of going 1.12. So not necessarily a chalk first, but everybody that goes in the first typically going in the first year. So we'll see where these first running backs get off the board. And a lot of these guys that I talked about free agent wise, we're going to see, does Barkley and Jacobs, if you've been following along with us, we've been singing their praises from the jump when we figured out where their ADP was, like 6th round, Jacobs and Barkley, let's go. Now 2 premium landing spots for 2 premium players who have finished as RB1s, top 5 RBs, top 3 RBs, getting a second career Revival out there potentially. So I could see those guys rising as high as around, maybe even Jacob, since he's a year older, or a round and a half. So we shall see. Spears probably plummeting down. He was the guy that you may have gotten in the 7th round. You were hoping going to be an RB1. I don't think anybody didn't think that they weren't going to bring somebody else in there, but to bring in Pollard and pay him that kind of money is, a little bit of a bummer. Ripped your heart out a little bit with Tajay Spears, I'm sure. Still think both are very efficient players and can be efficient with less touches. Whether it was one reason or another, we saw Tony Pollard fall victim of that. Was that what it was, or just was he hurt and not right? But I think both players can be effective on, not a whole game's worth of workhorse touches. So both guys kind of built like that. And then DeAndre Swift is the other one. We'll see getting paid, going over to Chicago. I don't know how people view that landing spot or how people really view Swift. But, I think there's still at least probably a third of your league that still really believe in Swift. So we'll see where that goes here. But Hollywood has got to be a three round riser here, I'm going to guess. What do you think? Maybe because the ADP on Sleeper hasn't caught up and you do have to dig for Hollywood here, I could see it maybe taking a minute for that to rebound. But this was like a 9th, 10th round guy that
let's see where
we were
we
getting.
We got Marquise at 9.9.
Yeah.
105 overall. This is the FFD ADP. This is post combine. We have like 2 or 3 more drafts I need to update into this.
Yeah, we were waiting to finish this one up, and this one will go in there. So we'll have another little data set to update the ADP.
This is definitely before the Marquise Brown signing. The ADP,
and even one draft wouldn't affect it.
Sure,
a terrible amount. So, but I'll be interested to see kind of where he goes here. And then Deontay Johnson, has to have been at least I don't see how it could have negatively affected his. I know some people would probably just think Carolina is just the absolute worst, but I kind of like the direction that Carolina is going in right now. So, they went and attacked their weaknesses. They went and paid 2 guards for what they would have played Brian Burns. Now again, last year, the old regime, which is still the owner, overplayed their hand with Burns, and they could have gotten more, had to take a little less, but they paid those guards, and they traded for Deontay Johnson, a guy who can separate, which was a huge issue for them, and Bryce Young, a rookie quarterback, getting just mollywopped and just guys in his face all day long. Like, yeah, of course he's going to be scared to not throw to somebody who isn't actually open, and which, you had a 32-year-old
Thielen
white guy out there, it is what it is. You're just get a target hog, like, I don't know, 120 something. I was just on with
it was a lot.
Memphis Dynasty Warzone yesterday. I think he said 130 targets or something. So Deontay Johnson, 130 targets, I think, is
the bar.
Yeah.
The minimum.
And gonna be more open. Now, will that head stay on right for Deontay Johnson?
If he's getting 150
I don't
targets,
think he necessarily really gives a shit about winning, but like if he's getting his targets and being able to do first down chops and
right.
Whatever, be about himself, which he clearly is. And he doesn't, hey, how much run blocking do I have to do? That's the first question. So, all right. So right away, JMW going Richardson, Kyler Murray, 112, 2-1. Then we got St. Brown, 2-2. We got Bijan as your first running back off the board. AJ Brown, 2-4. Marvin Harrison Jr., 2-5. So first rookie off the board. We got Big Marv.
Here, real quick, let me show you what I've been working on. This is a player page for rookies. So we're developing a rookie draft kit. You'd have access to this over on the Pleasure Chest, the $5 hauler. It's not been released just yet, but working on being able to develop this for all these players, for the rookies anyways. I'll move my way into the regular, the vets once I get past rookie fever season. But we got all kind of great stats here, usages on screens, slots, work versus man versus zone. We got analytics for your pleasure, dominators and receiving market shares, and contested catch rate in that final season better be below 27%. Or above. Yeah, no, below 27. Below. Just barely made it there, Marvin Harrison Jr. But anyway, just wanted to show this off. Been working on this for a while. Yeah. Got ADP up there in the top right corner.
It's going to be exciting. We got to make research a whole lot easier and make all that stuff coming to your fingertips pretty easy for the Patreons. So Marvin Harrison off the board. There we go. Sam Laporta, 2.6. We're 1.5 premium. Breece Hall, 2.7. Malik Neighbors 2.8, Garrett Wilson 2.9, Jahmyr Gibbs 2.10, Trevor Lawrence 2.11, and then Dak Prescott at 2.12. Like that Garrett Wilson value there. I think he's going to come out here and do some work. So JMW back on the clock. Of course, the third round reversal here. But like I was saying, these guys outside of JMW who went back to back, and I love Kyler Murray. Like I could argue Kyler Murray being in the first round. But these Hurts and Burrow team, man, they might be tough to beat. So we'll keep an eye on how that draft works out, because the third round reversal is meant to kind of help offset some of the, hey, I had to take Caleb Williams. Hey, I had to take a non-quarterback or whatever. Helps kind of offset that a little bit potentially. Here, those two guys might have gained a little advantage. So Jordan Love at 3-2, and then JMW went back at the 12 spot. He went Murray, Richardson, and then Puka Nacua. So he's off to a hot and heavy start with guys who can score points in bunches. Then we got Christian McCaffrey coming off the board at 3-3. Jordan Love appropriate.
JL says no way Love fell that far.
I think judging
that's a second round pick right there.
Love. I mean it's basically
Love or AJ Brown.
It's basic AJ Brown.
Really, that easy?
Probably, yeah.
I mean, for me.
It all depends on what we're doing, how we're building. I mean, at 3-2, how this board kind of fell, that's basically a second round pick, though. We get so it's in the third round. Like it's like it easily could have been instead of Dak, and Dak could have been at 3-2 there. So I don't get terribly bent out of shape about that. Yeah, if you need a quarterback, yeah, I think you would trade Jordan Love for AJ Brown. Rather AJ Brown for Jordan Love there, but
you probably couldn't get Jordan Love or AJ Brown.
I think the ADP reflects that you could get AJ Brown for Jordan Love and be. It just depends on where you're at with the quarterback. If Jordan Love coming into the season is your QB1, then you're probably not doing that move. It just, but no, I mean Jordan Love had a great back half of his essentially rookie season, even though it was 3 or 4 years in or whatever. So I can't hate on him. I would like to see one more great season from Jordan Love before we get excited, but you could say the same thing for CJ Stroud, except CJ Stroud put together just a ridiculous performance right out of the gate. So
Jordan Love 5 picks ahead of AJ Brown in our ADP.
Kind of helps him out. Yeah, that's
vindicated.
That's pretty close.
Told you.
Basically the same damn thing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but Jordan Love in our ADP, we're 2-3. Right. That's a full round almost ahead of where he went here. So I'm with JL on this one.
Nah, I mean, like I said, anywhere from 2-6 to 2-12 is typically where I see Jordan Love go. And if it trickles down to 3-2, I'm not going to get bent out of shape about it. I really hate that when it's like, oh, he's getting the third round. It's crazy. It's like it's 2 picks.
No way he falls that far.
He just did. What do you mean? Like that's why I hate that. No way. Yeah,
I need to get in the league with you guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. All right, man. Who's drafting these teams? The same idiots that are drafting the teams in your stupid leagues. Like,
hey, don't insult all the people drafting these teams.
Well, I mean, we're all idiots. It basically is what it comes down to. We're all right and we're all wrong, man. Yeah. Like, it's crazy that y'all get this bent out of shape about fantasy football sometimes, man. Not JL. Appreciate the comments. None of this is directed at you. You spurned a good conversation. And I think you could fall on either side of that. AJ Brown doesn't finish the way he finished last year, and probably a lot of people are saying, no way am I trading AJ Brown for Jordan Love. You know what I mean? So just the taste in your mouth for AJ Brown right now isn't great, and Jordan Love had an awesome game against the Cowboys there in prime time against everybody, or in front of everybody rather. So Chris Olave goes 3-4, Rome Odunze 3-5, Tua at 3-6, Jaden Daniels and Drake May off the board 3-7, 3-8. Drake London also could have had him in the intro list there, climbing up a little bit there in ADP. Kirk D. Cousins obviously coming to town and giving everybody a boost to their fantasy teams for any Falcons that you have been holding.
Never seen Kirk get so much respect before.
Well, it's just when it's been so bad.
Yeah.
You can is only up to go. And Drake, for the most part, people have been asking, where do you put, like, I've always kind of had Drake there. I kind of had it baked in that we were getting a new quarterback here. And I like Drake London a lot. So I had him already a tier above where probably some people did because of the quarterback, but that's called, predicting desires.
Is that what that's called?
I just watched that New Girl where they get a landline and businessman calls there and he's like, yeah, it's probably predicting desires. Winston's real good on a landline for some reason.
Yeah. What's a landline?
Yeah. So Trey McBride, second tight end off the board, 310. Brandon Ayuk, 311. Then Purdy at 312. Waddle falling down, baby. Falling down.
Must buy
the Waddles. Nico Collins.
Must buy. We need to do another one of those shows.
He's always on it. He's been on it for a year and a half, just like Kyler Murray's been on it for a year and a half.
Lamar was on it there for a hot second. Now Lamar, he's back up at 1-3.
So there goes Nico, Tyreek Hill, and then JT. JT probably a must buy too.
He was just on our must buys.
Been seeing some disrespect for JT a little bit in some trades, and it's how quickly you forget what JT can do for you. But JT was a guy that was a 3 first kind of trade guy, and it seems like at this point you might be able to trade like a back half of this year's first, like 1.8 or 1.9, and a 2 and a 3, and throw some other running back in there, and you might get yourself a deal because people are out on the JT sweepstakes in some cases, and so just go dangle some stuff out there. I know Big D Vengo is in this draft, is a big proponent of that right now. He's been sending some stuff he's been seeing in his leagues of offers for JT or JT trades, and it's been a little low. So go explore those. Travis Etienne at 4.5, Michael Pittman at 4.6, then we have Jared Goff at 4.7. So still obviously no Justin Fields coming off the board. No Saquon, no Jacobs yet. So we're waiting to see where those dominoes may fall. Devonta Smith seems like a guy who is perennially decently well a value in these drafts. What do you think about Devonta Smith? That's been a long Devonta Smith.
Jesus Christ. Get it
I said
right.
it Devonta the first time. I said Devonta the second time.
I'm a huge fan of Devonta Smith, and I feel like, is AJ Brown long for that team even? And not that they wouldn't bring somebody else in, but it already seems a little rocky there with him. And Devonta's a stud. You've seen him produce with or without AJ Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And just a solid fantasy asset, dynasty asset to have on your team. I see a lot of people in the comment section trying to move him, like trying to pair him up with a pick, trying to use him to move up from like 1.6 or 7 up to like 1.2. I'm like, I guess I'm not too mad if you want to do that. But I'm a big fan of Devonta, and with as many people trying to move him, it seems like he's a nice buy. It's a good value. I don't think his value is going to go down. It could go up. It could stay right there. And sometimes it's okay to take players where their value is and not plan on it moving.
Right.
Let me draft the guy at his peak value. That's fine. I get Devonta Smith in my lineup with an awesome ceiling and a solid floor. And if something does happen with AJ Brown, who doesn't seem to have his head on straight, or there seems to be issues between him and the team, and he didn't show up and didn't play, didn't come to the game, and all this, just a bad end of the season for AJ Brown.
Right.
I'm surprised there's not more love for Devonta Smith.
It's more of a bad taste for AJ Brown. I don't think there's any problems. I don't think there's that end of the season happens. You roll into a new season, everything's everything's. You get a new OC. Everything's moving on and upward, and now you have Kenny Pickett as your backup. So what could go wrong? Deshaun Watson 4.8, DJ Moore 4.9, Baker Mayfield at 4.10. Holy jumping Jehoshaphat! That's like an 8th round, 7th round pick that we've been seeing. That in our ADP, he's somewhere 8.1. 7.5, somewhere in there, depending on how the quarterbacks are kind of breaking down. That is a crazy
8.1.
Right.
Someone's been studying this ADP here.
Yeah, I'm all over it.
That's a 4-round jump with a little bit of a contract there. That's why, huh? That's a lot.
I don't know if
give me Deshaun Watson.
You're looking around at the quarterbacks and you're in that position and you're getting sweaty because it's Bryce Young, it's Kirk Cousins, it's Will Levis, it's Matthew Stafford, and then Justin Fields, which, take him out of the mix. That was a guy that you could have were pushing some more guys down the board a little bit because you were mid-third on him. So now, but that's a huge jump for Baker Mayfield. I don't know if I'm ready to make make that jump.
Yeah, it's
but
a little hot.
Wood Butcher, good for you. Then Brock Bowers goes.
Wood
Tank
Butcher.
Dell.
Not to be confused with the Butcher.
There goes Devonta Smith, JMW. Just what a nice little start for him. I pretty much could tell you how that draft's going to end for him. Brock Bowers and then Mark Andrews, the double up on the tight ends, a man after my own heart. The value in Mark Andrews and the young phenom in Brock Bowers, pairing them up. Usually I like to put some rounds in between those and get the veteran that I know can score me points if I even did go early on the young unproven tight end. But back to back, I think I'm not upset about that at all. And then now we got Kyle Pitts off the board at 5-3. So I think that's about where his ADP's been potentially.
Let me pull it up.
Later fifth maybe. But
Yodel.
our group doesn't seem to deviate off of
6-3
off the Pitts too much. So
yeah, I had to quit putting him on the must buys list.
right.
Like still should probably be. Maybe that's a Kirk jump there. Right? Got to give everybody a jump with Kirk.
Everybody's getting a little jump.
Even though he's not going to play for a minute. And they're probably not, who's going to be the quarterback there for a minute?
He might start the season.
What?
Yeah.
What is going on with these boys and these surgeries?
6 to 8 months.
Is that tightrope surgery or something?
Back out there. So we shall see. So there goes DK Metcalf. He seems like a guy who is kind of floating in purgatory a little bit. Everybody still likes him, but nobody loves him. It's hard to trade him and get any real value for him. So he's an interesting player. They're switching regimes. They're switching mindsets. They're switching. It's an end of an era right there. So we'll see how DK Metcalf kind of responds with this new coaching staff, with this new outlook, with a new approach of how they're attacking things. Still a defensive minded head coach, but a fun stab at Brian Grub, I believe Grubb from Washington, the Huskies there. So we're hoping and thinking that we're going to see a little bit more 3 wide receiver attack, kind of new aged, more nuanced passing attack, which would be a welcome addition, I think, for a lot of fantasy owners for potentially DK Metcalf and JSN. So JSN maybe fallen a little bit here, a little Alicia Keys. We're seeing where he kind of ends up here.
Sing. I would. What a great song. What a good voice.
Yes, strong to quite strong. So we'll see where he ends up. And then there goes Achan at 5'5", JJ McCarthy at 5'6". Whew, that's spicy. And then TJ Hawkinson, I think a great value at 5'7", Dalton Kincaid at 5'8", and Zay Flowers at 5'9". Let's see what's going on with these running backs. We got Kyron still kind of hanging around right now. Nobody wants to take the shot on Kyron, huh? Very, very interesting. Let's look at some team builds here.
Hey, real quick, you want to hit a couple questions?
You can hit me with one while I go over some team builds.
Normally a redraft player, so Dynasty is new to me, but I do know I want to win now. I like that. Who would you go after for my 2025 first? So typically, you can get into that 6th round in the startup with a first round pick next year, right?
I like to, hope for the 4th.
Shoot for the 4th, settle for the 6th.
6 would be, that's kind of where I draw the line with my first, essentially, a lot of times. Right now, where we are just currently in this draft, like, I'd probably trade a first for a lot of these players that are just went off the board in this 5th, right? Mm-hmm. You may have different values, but I mean, that's a really tough question there. Who and what do you need? What are you looking at? What are you trying to do? I don't, to just randomly throw out a first. Like I said, anybody on this board right now that's from 1-1 to probably about the round that just ended, 5. I think you could go anywhere there. Now we're into 6, and T. Higgins off the board. Kyron and Walker just went 5-12 and 5-11. So, most of these guys, you're not even going to be able to entertain it with a first. When you're in a startup, you can sometimes use the first to get back in around these areas. But like I said, 6 is usually where I cut that off. And then, there goes Brian Thomas. So that's a first for this year. But so that's kind of a tough question. You don't want really fringe guys. If for me, just again, like Josh Jacobs, I would if I need a running back and the first round pick, see if that would be a starter for Josh Jacobs. There goes Saquon Barkley 6'4". So really, no big change in this mock from where we've been seeing Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs. Again, this is one mock. We talked a little bit about it, joked around about it. In one mock, you can see all sorts of variants. It takes one guy to take Baker Mayfield in the fourth when I was counting on getting Baker and reaching up and taking him at 6'11". I thought that was all day. I'm seeing that. I'd be like, oh yeah, I could reach up a round and a half and take Baker. Well, that can't happen here. He took Baker. Now Justin Fields goes 6'3". That seems like a bit aggressive, right?
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable. Not with it. He's not going to probably play this year.
Seems a bit aggressive. So 6'3", the first spot I've seen Fields go since the trade. Still seems a little high. I thought we were going to maybe creep into the 8s and 9s before we saw Justin Fields, but Keiko Bean, he said he's got Lamar, he's taking Justin Fields, and now he's going to need to pair up, something else down the line. Maybe he's preparing for a little Danger Russ a little later. Then we got Bryce Young at 6'5", who is an interesting player right now because I'm starting to hype myself into figuring out if am I interested in trading a late one for Bryce Young right now? I think I'm getting kind of interested.
I'm not, but maybe that's why you should be.
I think I'm getting kind of interested in that.
Do you have to give up that late one?
I don't know. And where we're kind of seeing him, and the bottom hasn't completely fallen out for people. I think there would be plenty of people who would be like, I can recoup 112 and shoot again. Then sure, maybe, is it more like 2-1 to 2-3 for Bryce? Which would that, I was just talking a minute ago about, what's the difference between, the end of the second and the third and the startup for when we're really just talking about the value of a guy, but the psychology of having to give up 2-1 instead of 112 is feels a lot better getting Bryce for that. And somebody may just be like, hey, I'm ready to wash my hands of it. So I think it's worth exploring early 2s for Bryce Young. Now I'm a big Penix guy, so I'd like a shot on Penix. But we'll see where the draft capital kind of ends up. And that may be, Penix might be 110, 111. You might have to basically say, hey, I'm swapping Young for Penix. I like Penix a little more, I think. But also you got a little bit of a bad taste from Bryce Young when we were coming into the draft last year. If Penix would have been in it and Bryce Young would have been in it, I probably wouldn't have been saying that. It's kind of how things go. JSN goes 6'6", and Kirk Cousins goes 6'7", Josh Jacobs 6'8". So really no change with those guys. Jordan Addison is 6'9". Seems like it's a little low there, but I don't know. Jordan Addison not getting a ton of respect. Maybe no quarterback there, dragging down the value of Jordan Addison. He's an interesting one. It seems like people are pretty split on Jordan Addison. It's either you're way out and he's not going to be as effective and as efficient as he was last year. And that was just, kind of a one-off. And then other people are like, that guy's a stud. Of course he was going to do that. And I'm kind of in the
that dude's a stud.
I'm kind of in that camp of, I think that dude's a stud. Now, obviously we need to wait and see what's going to happen with a quarterback. The Vikings have made some moves. They got a little extra ammo. Whereas
pairing up the move,
not a whole other bunch of people who have the options of giving you 2 firsts in 24
year, right?
To go ahead and make a move. Now, will they? I don't know. You could now you're gearing up for saying, hey, if we can't make a move for a reasonable price, hey, now we can get 2 shots and we can take whichever one. If a quarterback falls, maybe we can take one, or we can take a quarterback at 111, whatever they have, and then we can draft another player there at 23, 22.
Mm-hmm. Real quick, back to Jordan Addison. I mean, I can never get down with the argument of like he was too good. It can't be that good again.
Yeah.
It can't be that efficient. He scored too many touchdowns. The knock of a guy scored too many touchdowns. I just what the fuck? He scored that many touchdowns. Give him his flowers.
Right. And so, operating with Justin Jefferson out a reasonable amount.
Right. And now Justin Jefferson, what's going to happen there? A lot of conjecture there. Turned down $30 million a year before the season started because he didn't know about the quarterback situation, I guess.
Yeah, I don't
I don't know
know.
why he turned down $30 million.
Maybe overplaying your hand a little bit,
Sounds like a lot.
but I mean, yeah,
No one has $30 million, right, from a wide receiver.
you do you.
Sure.
I don't see the Vikings moving on. I think it'd be pretty wild for you to go ahead and do that now.
But you're paying him like a dang mid-range quarterback.
Yeah, which is tough. But if you get the rookie, you can offset that now.
Yeah.
You can have him on there, and it's like, all right, well, now we're operating with like a cheap quarterback at our wide receiver, a cheap good quarterback as our wide receiver, essentially, or a cheaper good quarterback at wide receiver, essentially. So
right.
It'd be interesting to see how they play. I think they seem to be in kind of a little bit of a tearing it down kind of mode right now, and I feel if you're a Vikings fan, you're probably frustrated, but I feel like it's probably a good call for them to kind of do that. If you're not going to keep Kirk around, then it's
why wouldn't they have kept Kirk around though?
I don't know. It's just a couple million less, and maybe Kirk just was like, I'm gonna go over here, get this bag from Atlanta, fits pretty good, and my time ran out, and from what the moves that they were making, maybe Kirk was like, hey, I get a better chance of winning over here sooner. In 35, coming off an injury, I go down to Atlanta. They're hungry to win, whereas Minnesota's been kind of in a holding pattern of being, either overachieving or underachieving a little bit. So and no shade towards Kirk at all. I think Kirk gets too much shade. So. But there goes,
so I was saying, I can't believe the amount of respect he's been getting.
Yeah, well,
coming off an Achilles.
After you replace Arthur Smith, everybody's like, you're the second coming at this point.
Which I don't know if it's Kirk getting that much love. It's just it's a competent quarterback now there, so everybody else is getting the love.
Yeah, you're excited about everything, the pieces,
Bijan,
the coaching,
Kyle,
everything that's there. You got to.
Arthur Smith's not bad. He just wouldn't give the best players the ball.
Some guys are.
Is that going to happen in Pittsburgh?
Some guys are coordinator face.
Are they going to make him give the guys the ball? I don't mind the plays that he's calling, but he won't he wouldn't give Bijan the fucking ball.
Well, he's splitting it up between two guys. He's going to probably split it up between these two guys. I said on a show, buy low on a lot of the Pittsburgh offense, and then some guy commented about, are you really telling me to buy low? Like, buddy, that's you making that comment is exactly why I'm telling you to buy low on that offense, because you got Arthur Smith blinders on. You got Arthur Smith blinders on. There was a time where Arthur Smith was running the hottest show on earth as the OC with AJ Brown and Tannehill and Derrick Henry and coordinator face down there in Atlanta. No quarterback.
No quarterback.
Now with Russ and with Fields, how is that going to play out? I don't know. Both can be pretty competent, I think, in what Arthur Smith does. I know the middle of the field throwing thing with Russell can be concerning, but so many of the Steelers are so cheap. Freiermuth is cheap. Russell Wilson's cheap. Fields should be cheap now. Najee's cheap. Warren's cheap. So you can get so many of those guys. George Pickens, where are we at here? We are in round 7-2. George Pickens just went. So still moderately cheap. You want to throw a first rounder at somebody who could really crush it for you? Throw it at George Pickens, baby. Maybe the owner hates George Pickens. There's a lot of George Pickens hate out there. Although after the end of the season last year, I felt like a lot of people started turning it around on George Pickens. Oh, he might be good. So here we go. So you want to, whoever asked that question, a little 25 first for Georgie P. Yeah, sure. Throw it over there. You could probably get that done potentially.
Fantasy God is questioning the hotness of the Titans once they once were.
What do you mean? I don't understand. What are you questioning?
Hottest show, Titans? Question mark? Exclamation point.
Dude. There was a section of a year where Tannehill was putting up better stats than Patrick Mahomes for a large stretch of the season, and they went into the playoffs and railroaded a bunch of teams' fucking seasons. Man, they were really, really solid.
Yeah.
For I don't remember what year that was, and then a few years, up until really the last year and a half, nobody wanted to see Tennessee.
Yeah.
So it's a little silly, he went over there and he ruined everybody's fantasy outlook for you in Atlanta. So, but Tennessee had a pretty good track record over there with, look what they were operating with. Like they were a throwback team who were doing things a little bit different way. Arthur Smith came in, and did some really, really good things is a better way to phrase that. So I don't offend anybody, fantasy God. I'll do 3 Hail Marys and just say I'm sorry. So that, that's what
Statistically, Tannehill is no Mahomes, brother. I mean, check it.
Oh
Go
my
check
God.
it, buddy. Let's pull up Tannehill's stats from like this. Must have been like 20.
He was like I don't remember.
18.
This was a while ago, but you gotta. There's no reason to pull up anybody's stats right now. We're in the middle of a live mock. It doesn't matter. That guy's wrong, and it's okay. I know for a fact that he was up there just putting up ridiculous QB numbers for a large stretch of whatever season that was. It might have come back off an injury or so. I don't exactly remember the ins and outs, but Tannehill was playing high-level quarterback there for a minute for the Tennessee Titans.
He says he's not wrong, so he must be right.
Yeah. For sure. All right, let's get back to this draft here. We had Stafford go at 6'10 and Levis go at 6'11. So quarterbacks, really drying up here. People really reaching. Stafford, 35. This was a guy who last year was a 12th, 13th round pick. We were seeing him creep up into the 8th round, and now he's in the 6th round. Levis, a lot of fun here, right? They brought in a whole new approach to everything. They brought in Ridley. They're going to chuck it around the yard. I could see taking a shot on Levis there. Still seems a little early, but that's all right. But
Baker just went, so
right.
I mean,
well, that's what I'm saying. We're dry.
You want Levis or Bryce Young? That's a question now, right?
For sure.
I don't know.
I think I'll take the pedigree on Young.
Yeah. I have to remember to not just completely bail off what I thought Bryce Young was coming out of college, which was a pretty good quarterback.
Nobody was surviving in that atmosphere last year. You put Stroud in there. Yeah, maybe he would have made a couple more plays, but we'd still be like, oh man, CJ Stroud, what a disaster for Carolina. I just don't know how many people were succeeding and kind of what was put around him there. So Xavier Worthy going 6'12, Mitchell at 7'1, George Pickens at 7'2, Travis Kelce at 7'3, Rashad White at 7'4, Michael Penix 7'5, Deebo Samuel 7'6, Troy Franklin 7'7, Troy Benson 7'8, 7'9. We got Joku 7'10. We have Cook, Pacheco 7'11, Devontae Adams 7'12, DeAndre Swift 8'1. So I don't think that's a ton of upward trajectory for DeAndre Swift really at all, which I didn't know that if that would move the needle or not, but maybe getting paid might have moved the needle a little. Stephon Diggs at 8'2, Christian Kirk at 8'3. His stock should be moving up, and I think that's maybe a little higher than kind of where we've been seeing that. I think he was a little closer to Hollywood Brown in that 9 range. From what we were seeing on ADP wise. Yeah, let's see here. Christian Kirk, 8'12. So up a little. You can just chalk that up to draft variance, I guess. Jaden Reed, that seems like pretty solid value there at 8'4. That's a guy who could easily lead the Packers in a bunch of categories. They're going to probably manufacture touches there. But, do you worry about where he falls in spreading the ball around? Could it be, just a different person every single week? For sure, but at 8'4, I think I'm definitely okay with taking that shot. If we were
Seth says Reed going 8th round, holy steal.
Yeah. So, that's somebody who typically goes in that mix of like the 5th, 6th round. Jaden Reed 6'6", wide receiver 30. That's real nice value on Reed. Real comfortable taking Reed at that point in that 6th round. The good younger receivers are kind of starting to dry up, and so he's kind of the tail end of that, and you can get him. But nice respect on Christian Kirk's name. Jonathan Brooks going 8'5". I like that. Terry McLaurin and Mike Evans 8'6", 8'7", and then Xavier Leggett. I don't know how we pronounce it. I've been watching all 22, so the sound
say it.
So the sound isn't on. They don't have sound on those. But there's some respect on his name there. I mean, a lot of. I mean, and Big D was just talking in the chat how he's heating up on him. I like Xavier. I think there's a lot of context. I think people are starting to finally figure that out, and the film guys are really stamping it and kind of saying, "Hey, the analytics guys, you need to relook at this because here's the reasons why." And there's plenty of them. Plenty of people have talked about him. Xavier Leggett offers a very nice skill set that could be really, really impressive. We'll see where the draft capital lands him. But a lot of people getting hyped on Leggett, which is what you want. If you want steam now as going into the process, he didn't peak too early. Some of these guys peak too early and now start going down. And and it's just it's a that's not where you want to be. So Javonte Williams 8-9, Chris Godwin 8-10, Alvin Kamara 8-11, Hollywood Brown at 8-12. So up a little, but not quite far enough for my tastes. I mean, Hollywood Brown should be all the way up at the very least in this 7th round at this point. He's still, I believe, only 26 years old. He's put together large, good runs and seasons, and now he's in the best situation of his career. And him and Rashee Rice, I think, are really, really good players to kind of go in unison with one another. So then David Montgomery at 9-1, which was just a big blow to Big D there, Vengo in the middle. So here comes JMW with kind of the strategy that I like to employ a lot of the times. I may have taken a shot on he would have had to do it at 5-1, but maybe trying to get an anchor running back a little earlier, but now he can come through here, fill up some green boxes for 3, 4, 5 rounds and just be loaded. He's got 2 rookies. He's got Hollywood Brown. He's got Devonta Smith, Tank Dell, and Puka. Like, it's going to be a bear dealing with him. And then he's got Kyler Murray, kind of the rushing upside, and Richardson, a little bit of an unknown. Maybe like to see a third quarterback get drafted there, but we've seen him put points up in bunches. So Deontay Johnson going to 9-2. Not high enough for me, I don't think. I think a little bit more respect on Deontay's name needs to be put on there. There's Najee Harris. That's a nice little cheap buy for me. Joe Mixon at 9-4 seems like a good buy. Going over to the Texans,
getting signed,
and it's not really like there's not a lot of places you go from going from Cincinnati and going, well, I don't view it as much of a downgrade. Right. So they seem to want Mixon. I don't know how that contract's set up, if there's some trap doors that you can get out of or not, but 3 years for Mixon and some cash. And he was productive last year. So we shall see. Probably fits their scheme really well. So Mayer going at 9-5, Keon Coleman at 9-6, Tajee Spears at 9-7. So a big fall for Tajee Spears, who was 7-5, I believe, where we were seeing him in the FFD ADP. 7-5, yeah, 77. So, and then Ladd McConkey, who is, got to be right up there with Xavier Worthy for me, got to be right up there with Troy Franklin for me. The fact that he is going down in these regions is telling me that I am not in this draft, and I'm the one that has been helping prop his ADP up in our draft.
I need to get in a draft with these guys.
Yeah. So there goes Charbonnet. That's an interesting one. He kind of hangs around for a while in a lot of these drafts. I could be just an absolute steal if any, and we don't know how they're going to, deploy the running back position at all coming up here in Seattle. So, why not take the shot? He was a coveted player, a good player. He's got a good skill set. He kind of can be a 3-down guy, decent pass catcher, and does things a little differently than Kenny 3-Sticks does. So Zach Charbonnet at 9-9. I think it might be a little rich for kind of where we've been seeing Sharbs going. But let's see here. We are 12-1 is where we've been seeing Charbonnet. So that's an early Sharbs for what we've been seeing. Cooper Kupp at 9-10. Hey, take your swing. Let's see what Coco Bean's got going on here. He took the field, so he probably needs a quarterback still. So he'll be looking in this Derek Carr, Geno Smith, Russell Wilson, Rodgers area to bail him out. Maybe a little Daniel Jones, see what he's got going on there. Christian Watson at 9-11. So, his stock is down a little. George Kittle, 9-12. Amari Cooper, 10-1. All right, let's see what UDFA's got going on here. He's got Josh Allen, Dak, and Brock. So he's ready to roll with 3 strong starters. He's got Jalen Waddle, great first wide receiver off the board. He's got Kenny Walker. He's got T. Higgins. So he's kind of got the land of misfit, good wide receivers that nobody wants,
Devontae Adams.
And then Devontae Adams following that up with who's,
Amari Cooper.
Gonna be a target. Yeah, and then Amari Cooper and
the land of misfit wide receivers that nobody wants. Well,
they're good guys. They're good players.
Analogy.
But just taking the value there. I like it.
Yeah. Love it.
And then gets Kittle too. So he's ready to roll right now. I like that a lot. Let's see what Mike 345's got going on. He's got Mahomes, Lawrence, Ayuk, Nico, Kyron Williams, Brian Thomas, Pacheco, Diggs, and Christian Watson. So decent little balance there. Kyron was a nice steal, I think, at 5'11". I like that. That's good production. Pacheco, don't see any reason to be terribly scared of what Isaiah Pacheco has going on. If you're winning, Pacheco is great for your roster. Diggs 8-2 can help you out. You got Nico and Ayuk. Little birdies chirping that the Niners tried to trade Ayuk to the Jacksonville Jaguars for pick 17 and Zay Jones. Didn't quite work out, but we shall see.
I saw some other rumor about where he would go, where he wanted to go.
Marshawn Lloyd at 10-2, and then Geno Smith there for Coco Bean at 10-3. So he's now got at least another quarterback to get him through a year without Justin Fields, if need be. So the CJ Stroud old thumper over there, he goes Stroud, Wilson, Drake, Taylor, Flowers, Barkley. Like that start. But we're missing the QB, right? We need that second quarterback, and Rodgers is going to be it for him. So we'll see how he addresses that. And again, we're not getting the full bench here. We're only going 15 rounds to keep everybody engaged. We don't need to be doing 22-round mocks with minute clocks. We'll do those.
Bed Bath & Beyond. I don't know how much time we're going to have.
We'll do those in the slow versions. So go check out the FFD $5 holler on the Patreon and the Discord. Be sure to like, subscribe, all that jazz. So you don't miss anything. These live shows and all the other content that we're putting out. We've been hammering some rookies. We've been hammering the vets. We've been hammering values. We've been hammering sells, trades, all that good stuff. So if you're watching this and you haven't already, go ahead and click that button and make sure you get it.
Let me do one more plug for the player pages I've been building. Here's a Malik Neighbors little drop. Just hit this in the beginning of the show, but we got the combine metrics, which obviously he didn't participate. We got ADP from several different platforms, including ours. Counting stats. We got advanced stats. What were the first downs per target? That's a big one there. The contested catch rate. ADOT, gotta have that.
First downs
per route run.
First downs per route run is the
that's the hotness. I told you I had that stat.
That's that new crack.
You see this is the Puka stat here, the first downs per route run versus zone coverage. That's the Puka stat.
Even more specific.
Needed to find something to make Puka good. Well, how do we miss him? And then just some straight up regular analytics. As you can see, Malik Neighbors touching all the green boxes, which I'm working on the color coordinating of the thresholds, because the thresholds is not what you get from the analytical people too often. They like to keep those thresholds hold tight. And I'm going to get them for you. I'm going to figure out where it is and where's the threshold between good and bad. And maybe we get a little yellow middle in between, but really I just want good and bad. Where's that threshold? Let me get a
green to red, baby.
Threshold.
Green to red.
But anyways, we're going to be building these player pages. That'll be available in a draft kit that we're putting together. Some stat pages to be able to sort through and just to help you get prepared for this rookie draft season, as I'm sure people are already in it, but been working hard on this. Let's go.
All right, we're going to keep rolling through some of these teams here. We got Hoodie, AMB. What up? He's a vet. He hangs out with these in these mocks here. He's in the rookie mock too, so shout out to him. Double dipping, he said. Justin Herbert, Brees, Jaden Daniels, Pittman, Hawk, JSN. So taking the value on some JSN potentially. Franklin, Terry McLaurin, Tajay Spears, and Nick Chubb at 10-6. So goes and takes the shot on Chubb, takes a shot on Spears. I like it. And then some good wide receivers here. But Marco in Mexico on the next team here, he went 4 red blocks right in the middle of this thing. And whether I like McCarthy or not at 5-6 is irrelevant. But Justin Jefferson
ridden more than Seattle slew is irrelevant.
He's got Justin Jefferson and Laporta, so 2 at the top of their position, and he's got Tua, Goff, McCarthy, and Cousins. So he doesn't, he's insulated himself enough. So he, even if he did stab a little too early on McCarthy, it's not going to hurt him. And then McCarthy, if we're just saying we're turning this into a league, McCarthy's going to get first round capital at this point. Is it going to be top 5, top 10, top 15? We don't know.
But it's too much smoke.
But he will be. He will be coveted for sure because he's getting that first round capital. So somebody on this board will want and come after McCarthy pretty aggressively So we shall see what that is. So I don't hate that. And then he's got, Debo and Mike Evans, Keon Coleman, mixing a little youth in there. Derrick Henry, his first RB off the board. So needs to do a little bit more work in the running back department potentially, and maybe well, he's got Sam Laporta, so he doesn't need another tight end. He's got a fun stab. And then Jameson Williams, let's go. Our guy Big D over there, he starts off Hurts, 2 rookies, Marvin Harrison and Rome Odunze, and Deshaun Watson, Achane and Josh Jacobs, strong, and then Michael Penix and Xavier Legette, and then Michael Mayer then backs that right up with Evan Ingram. So kind of the opposite of what I was saying before, or actually exactly what I was saying before. If you take the younger, maybe unproven guy, and then back it up with a really good veteran who could score some points. Did that, I like it, and then he grabbed Jerry Jeudy with some potential upside at 11.5 there. So I like what Big D's doing. He's going to be fluid. He's going to be able to make some moves. He's going to be able to kind of move around a little bit. He got some fun young guys, can kind of go in either direction. Doesn't need to press to try to win. So he's got a lot of fun there. And then Ryan RJ or JZ rather, Joe Burrow, AJ Brown, Chris Olave, DJ Moore, DK Metcalf, Addison stacked, and then did a great job of building this running back room out here with Rashad White, Javonte Williams, great shot in the dark, and then Joe Mixon. Nobody loves it, but he's probably going to score some points from you. And then he came back and bolstered up that receiving room or that quarterback room with, again, guys that nobody's going to like, but he's going to at least have one starter between Carr and Russell Wilson. And shit, I mean, would we be that surprised if Russell Wilson came out and revitalized, 2-3 careers here for the Pittsburgh Steelers here through the back end of things? So Derek Carr then at 11.4, like exactly where his head is at through this draft. That's a really, really solid effort, really solid team that you got to craft up there. So great job. Let's see how he finishes that thing. The Wood Butcher. We've kind of gone over this team once, but he's got Baker early and then Stafford a little early. So he had to be forced to be early on the RBs, but those top 3 are murderer's row with Jamar Chase, Bijan, and McCaffrey. So he's gonna go. You got McCaffrey on the team. You're pressing the button to try to win right now. You got Pitts and Kelsey. So once again, pressing the button to win right now. And then he went back and he got himself Aaron Jones and Keenan Allen. So he's trying to win some cash year one, and then probably pay that back out for that rebuild coming in about 2 years. We'll see how he finishes the bottom of this out. But he could have a really, really solid team here. But what he will be equipped with when he does, if he's getting a little older, he does have Bijan to be able to sell. You could sell Christian McCaffrey at the end of this year, and it won't be as good, but you could get something. And you could sell Kyle Pitts potentially if you had to. So, and Jamar Chase. So you could rebound in a little bit of a rebuild if you found yourself sitting there going, oh man, this didn't work out. So that I don't really hate that. You went for it, but you still have some pieces that'll be worth something. And then Uno Dynasty, we did JMW at the end here. CeeDee Lamb, St. Brown, Jordan Love, Bowers, Andrews, Levis, Pickens, Kamara, Deontay Johnson, B-Rob, and then Calvin Ridley. Nice squad there. I like that. That's a competitive squad right off the rip. We're questioning Will Levis. I would have liked to see you get one of these quarterbacks to make sure you had a 2 that you feel good about every week. But Levis has got a lot of upside there and a lot of fun. And I like where they're going. And the developmental head coach has got a good track record with quarterbacks, Callahan there. So we'll see what happens with Levis. He's certainly a bit of a gunslinger, shredded quarterback. You like that? Looks good in a wet white tee. That's a strong stat for Levis there. Let's see what's going on in the back half of this draft. So we've been taking a pause to go through some teams. We've seen Jerry Jeudy and we've seen Javonte Williams go. Now Hoodie adds to his running back collection with Austin Eckler. Josh Downs going 11.8. Jahan Dotson 11.9. Ferguson 11.10. Komet 11.11. Woo! Our boy Komet's down there in the dumps, in the dirt. Keenan Allen pushing him down a little bit. I say, let him rise like a phoenix from the ashes. Let's go. That's a great pick by Mike there. That's his first tight end. He grabs himself some Komet, and then I love this Goddard smash here by UDFA. He's just building again the land of misfit toys, man. Goddard was a fifth, fourth round tight end not too long ago. Now everybody hates him.
Now he's 29.
Now he's
old,
right.
receding hairline.
And was a little banged up last year, broke that forearm, missed some time.
Nobody likes a guy with a receding hairline.
You gotta wear a lot of hats.
A lot of hats.
Goofy, silly hats.
I need to get a cowboy hat, maybe
10-gallon bucket hat, a little newsy, maybe a newsy cap.
Maybe like a headband of some sort.
You can't wear the visor because then you're just gonna get burnt.
Yeah,
we're in the South. You got a visor bald. It's a recipe for disaster. You're gonna have a couple beverages, forget that thing's just exposed, and just be taking a shower and screaming.
Yeah. Well, you don't even know.
I've burned my scalp before.
Okay.
But yeah, I like these two stabs right here. Michael Wilson on the turn, and then baby Wicks, crushing that first downs per route run stat, baby. Ooh. So just shoot him right up the fucking board. But we've talked about it a bunch, but cheap wide receiver Packers. And you got
even Christian Watson.
You got Jaden Reed for cheap. So I'm not saying anything about that. Take that all day long. But Wicks, the cheap guy, is and Romeo Dubs, the cheap guys, are the guys who I'm going to probably end up rostering a lot more
easier
this season. I feel like I have a sneeze coming, but
just those
I'm not
burps. Sure. Just those indigestions.
The beer gets me every time.
Is that what it is?
Oh yeah, the bubbles. Connor at 12.4, Roman Wilson at 12.5, Pat Freiermuth at 12.6. That's what I'm saying.
How about that?
Cheap Pat.
How about that value?
Cheap Pat.
If there's one thing you can't say about Arthur Smith, he's down to throw to the tight end.
That dude caught like 88 balls 2 years ago.
And was banged up. The recency bias.
Yeah, and I mean his concussions are a real problem, but that's why he's cheap. That's why I'll buy it. If it doesn't work, who cares?
Right.
I got a deep dish.
I wasted my 12th round pick. Get a deep dish.
That little Tommy boy. he's talking about because he wants him to make sales, and he's like, "How come you don't sell brake pads like you sold those wings?" And he's like, "Well, or if that didn't work out, I know I got a deep dish in the trunk or something along those lines." Been a minute since I've seen it, but
R.I.P.
Yeah. Then there goes Braylon Allen. So that's I don't know which
12-8,
fourth or fifth rookie running back off the board. Kendre Miller at 12.9 continues to be a very nice draft pick for you. Mike Williams just signed him with the Green Bay, or not the Green Bay, with Aaron Rodgers in New York. So nice little outside guy for him. We'll see how many games he can stay in and play. But the last few seasons, man, he's had some really nice chunks of seasons for Mike Dubb there, pairing him up with Aaron Rodgers. I thought the Jets have done, an okay job here in the offseason.
Addressed that offensive line, picked up a good couple of pieces.
They traded for Morgan Moses, I believe. Then they picked up Tyron Smith.
Right.
And then I think they picked up from the Ravens. He's a Clemson Tiger. Jonathan, drawing a blank on the name here, but Clemson Tiger played for the Vegas drafted him. Then he was on the Ravens there. So Jonathan Simpson.
Gotcha. Yeah, you're right. Braylon Allen, fifth running back off the board for rookies.
Dalton Schultz continues to just be an effing steal. You're going to talk tight end premium, and a guy like he could score you. He's getting you 10 points a week easy, and then he's got 15, 18 point a week upside. There goes Daniel Jones, JMW, scooping a little fun value here at 13.1. Zamir White, that's an interesting one there at 13.2. Do you think the Raiders are going to go and not draft anybody? Signing Alexander Madison probably helps the case of Zamir White a little bit, that, hey, we don't have to go do something if we don't want to. If we're going to take a year to kind of figure things out this year, maybe we don't go drafting a running back this year. Let's see what we have in Zamir. We have Madison.
Has some juice.
Zeus is country strong, Bo.
Caught some balls, too.
Yeah. Had a nice back half of the season. So at 13-2, hell of a shot there. They draft somebody, but maybe he's still their numero uno, as long as they don't go crazy and taking Trey Benson or Brooks
Jonathan
or something
Brooks.
crazy in the first or second round or second or third round, Zamir's going to have a chance. Marvin Mims, surprised I haven't seen a big rise in 80. It seems like nobody cares. Like nobody cares that they traded Judy away to clear path for Mims there. He's continued to just stay down. Now, again, I think Marquise staying down there, and I think Mims, you got to scroll pretty far down to get Mims on that depth chart. And I know he didn't produce anything last year. I don't know what to do.
I mean, who's going to be the quarterback there?
Well, yeah, sure. But they obviously are going to do something,
Well, they don't even have any picks, do they? I don't know that they have that many picks.
I think they got their first. They're
Do
picking
they?
at 12 or 13, I think.
All right.
Somewhere around in there. That middle, that like 11 through 16 or 11 through 14 is like Broncos, Minnesota, the Raiders, and the Seahawks. So all teams that could definitely take a shot on a quarterback at that point. So Mims is there. Musgrave's at 13-4, like that shot, but that he needs another tight end. So we'll be looking for, that this would be a team. I add Musgrave, and then maybe I take a shot at a Waller a little later, a veteran that could score me some points down the line here. If it gets late and it's 17th, 18th round, I'll take Hunter Henry and throw him on this team and let Musgraves, maybe see what we got there. Musgrave rather. Quentin Johnston, stock up. He's their wide receiver one. Probably not going to last. We'll see what the Chargers do at 5. Could be a trade back, could be an offensive lineman, could be neighbors. Who knows? Maybe it's Maybelline. Then we got Tank Bigsby at 13-6. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Bucky Irving, 13-7. Jalen Wright at 13-8. That is great value. And he might have been buried a little down the list. So sometimes that kind of happens, especially with these minute clocks. You don't have time to survey. But that seems really far down there. That I would assume that he'd be at least a round or 3 up from that great combine performance. So didn't see that coming. Jerome Ford, 13-9. DeAndre Hopkins, 13-10. Wandell, 13-11. Cortland Sutton, 13-12. So nice little run of receivers that could really do some damage for you. And then this might be the best value of the draft. UDFA collecting the land of, just change your name, Bubba. The land of misfit toys. He's got Cortland Sutton. Nobody wants that guy. He could be really good, coming off of a great year last year. And then Jacoby Myers at 14-1. Come on. Get a grip, people. Somebody needed Jacoby in the 12th.
Mm-hmm.
Some of y'all boys are out there rubbing 2 sticks together. Jacoby could have got you some fire easy. He just brings you a Zippo, lighting that thing right up.
Fuck a fire. I can light it on the stove. GID. Shout out.
There goes Chase Brown, 14-12. That's good value. Where's Zach Moss? He go yet?
I don't believe so.
If you're gonna bump Brown down to 14-2, Moss has got to go before that, right?
Yeah, Zach Moss down here buried in the ADP.
Yeah, that's why he ain't go yet. There goes Sam Howell at 14-9. So he takes another shot at quarterback from Keiko Bean, who's he needs to take some shots. Burks at 14-4. I'll keep stabbing on Burks. I'm gonna keep stabbing, baby.
Sure.
Jatavion Sanders at 14-5. Love that. Ricky Pearsall at 14-8. Michael Carter at 14-7. That's an interesting shot. Then Gardner Minshew.
Interesting shot.
I mean, I don't, I feel like Michael Carter got played out a little bit, right? Like they went and they took Brees and then they brought in Cook, right? I think Michael Carter can play. He's on Arizona. What's the competition there with him and James Conner? Maybe they draft somebody, probably like DL, good landing spot for one of these running backs to go to, like James Conner on the end of a contract, getting a little older. They got holes everywhere for running back position. So Michael Carter, nice stab, maybe a little too early. And sometimes that happens when you're only in like doing these 15 rounders. People scroll down and just grab guys they know they want. So I'm not upset about that, but I might not have taken him at 14-11. Gardner Minshew, Gabe Davis, coming off the board right there. Let's see some other running backs that are on the board. Roshan Mostert, Chuba Hubbard. I'd take Chuba over Carter there. I'd take Antonio Gibson over Carter. What do you think? Ty Chandler got buried a little bit, but I mean, Aaron Jones doesn't not miss time. So
yeah, very true. Very true.
Zach Moss is still out there, so he didn't go. And I'll take a shot on Miles Sanders, but he can be a little later as well. I'll take that Panthers backfield for cheap. Like I said, they went and attacked that guard position right off the rip. They had some pieces on there. Wouldn't be surprised if they attack that position again in the draft. At least take another shot or two at some guys there. So some shots still out here for your running back position for sure. Are the rookies finally mix in with everybody? Or the rookies?
Yeah, I mean, we got Bucky Irving going there, 13-7. Oh, you mean in the ADP?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Because I can't get to the rookie tab on my thing. But here we go.
Oh, rookies only.
So Will Shipley's still out there, who I've been really, really kind of falling in love with over the tape watching process. People like Ray Davis. So I would take some of these running back shots. Some of these early running backs. Nobody likes him because he ran a 4.7, but
I wonder if there was another
his
Notre Dame player with a bad 40.
His explosion
could never be any good after the fucking
is
combine.
Outrageous.
Bad draft capital, and now getting disrespected in the 5th round.
Disrespected.
In the 5th round. You know what I mean? It should be higher.
Oh,
why, you know what? Why wouldn't you take him higher?
Yeah, I don't know. Mooney.
I need to get in a draft with these guys.
Yeah, he's dinguses. 15-5 Mooney. I'll take that.
Dude, Mooney getting paid more money than Saquon. I saw some tweet about that. Is what's wrong with the world. I was like, wow, hard to disagree with that.
Yeah.
Hard to disagree with that.
Hey, at least the running backs moved around, got a little bit more respect. Nothing insane,
well,
but
just
at least
because it's class,
at least some
trash.
contract. Whatever. I don't care why, but
all the running backs need
movement.
to band together and all hold out and not take any. It's like if all of America if no one showed up to vote for the presidential election,
wow.
No one showed up.
We're out.
We need
keep
better
giving
candidates.
us these bad options.
We need better candidates.
We're not voting.
No one's voting.
We're done.
How about that?
Keep giving us the bottom of the barrel idiots.
How about that?
I'm not coming.
Give me a real debate.
How about that?
Yeah. Make a statement.
Better off with her as president. How about that?
No.
The Dr. Phil girl. She's got an OnlyFans. She's a rapper now.
No shit.
She's crushing. She's
good for her.
Multi-millionaire. Yeah. It's a bummer.
Man, we need an OnlyFans.
I've been trying to tell my wife, whenever you're ready to go, I don't even give a fuck. We could fuck on camera for a year and you catch me, somewhere warm by a crib on the sand, got to float to the land.
I meant like me and you, not your wife, but whatever.
I mean,
the FFD.
You're going to need some more hats for sure.
Can write a mean softcore porn script. So
J.K. Dobbins hasn't signed anywhere to my knowledge there. But I like Mooney. Mooney would go a little higher for me here. Chuba was a good pick. Pop Douglas, great pick. Devin Singletary. Once again, JMW. I could have told you exactly what he was going to do there. Thought maybe you might see another tight end in there somewhere, but Schultz, great value. He's got one. We're only in 15th round. He probably would have doubled down on a couple more. But like I said, bunch of green boxes here. Love exactly how he played that out. I also like the way that Ryan Jay-Z played his board out there. That was really well done. So those are kind of up my alley of kind of how to draft. Now, it's not that I wouldn't throw a green box in there, being a running back if it kind of fell in the right spot, but I think they did a marvelous job. JMW coming through, and you're going to say, oh, yeah, well, you're starting Monty or Stevenson or Warren, or Moss, or then Singletary is the starter for the Giants. Yeah, maybe they draft somebody, maybe they don't. Singletary's a good player that nobody likes and can score you some fantasy points. So obviously this draft would have went on a little longer and he could have done some other things, but really like that. And then grabbed Daniel Jones there. Nice job with Ryan as well. He grabbed Kentre and Estime a little later, and those two quarterbacks, a shot at a tight end. Going to need something a little more proven in the tight end area, and then a shot at Gabe Davis, who nobody likes, but Gabe can give you on a bye week one of those 20-point Gabe weeks. Big shot in the dark. Could get you 2 or 3, or could get you 20. So, but yeah, appreciate you guys. A lot of fun here. Love UDFA. Great job over there. A lot of really good teams in here. I feel like this would be a fairly competitive league. Nobody went crazy productive struggle. A couple of guys could kind of weave in, weave out, got some trap doors in there. But still some really, really good values out there. Some surprising values out there. And we hope you'll join us for the next ones of these. We do them every other week, going live, doing Superflex Tight End Premium mocks, 15 rounds. You guys couldn't do it without you. So we hope to catch you guys next time. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment below, podcast 5-star review, $5 holler if you want to get in the slow mocks that we do that help us build all that ADP we've been referring to. Jason has been building player pages for all the rookies that you'll have some access to. You'll have access to ADP. You'll have access to some rankings, all sorts of stuff. You get an extra show every at least 3 a month. You get extra shows.
We need to move to once a week.
Yeah, well,
Let's
I mean,
do it.
You guys get us to 200 patrons, and I'll do it once a week. I might do it.
Hey, we can set a goal. We can set a little goal.
So appreciate you guys. Arthur Smith, decent coordinator.
Yo, we were going back and forth the whole time about Tannehill and Mahomes. Listen, Mahomes outscored Tannehill, but
yeah, no shit. Like, what are we like? No shit. That you're taking everything like no shit. Like, yeah,
but it was close. And
but he got Tannehill playing some fucking good quarterback.
The last 7 games of the season, if you take out Mahomes, because he didn't play week 17, but if you count that week, then Tannehill really outscored him. Tannehill might have been quarterback 1 the last 7 games of that season, but he was hot fire. We got an admission of hot fireness, though, so I think we made some headway.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say he was better than Mahomes, guys.
I mean, you kind of did say that.
I said he was better for a stretch.
Yeah,
and Arthur Smith had them boys
play the tape back.
Arthur Smith had them boys cooking. That's really what they had a problem with.
He did
have them boys cooking.
They were cooking. Nobody wanted to fuck with the Titans.
So all right. Well,
hey, appreciate y'all in the chat. That was a good time.
Great time, and Hey, that's what I want the chat to be. I want y'all to come and talk some shit. Bring it. Let's go. Let's talk some shit. Let's have some fun. That's what we're supposed to be doing here, guys. We're supposed to be having fun. That's the whole point of this whole thing. Yeah, we want to win some money. I like playing for a little bit more money because I can, and it's fun, and I pay attention, and I like it. But the main goal here is to talk some shit, hopefully provide some value for your guys. Your value shouldn't be the same as mine. You shouldn't have the same opinion as mine. But I'm just trying to give you an idea of where the value is, what I like, the reasons that I like them, and then you go make your own decisions with that information. And let's have some fun along the way, talk a little shit. I think too many people get too bent out of shape, especially analysts. We used to talk a lot more shit to the analysts, but, they don't really like it all that much. So
they're sensitive.
We've toned it down a little bit.
Nobody gives us any run. They don't like us.
Nobody likes all the shit talking.
Yeah.
I'll still throw it out there.
Sensitive out there. We need a bad tweet, bad person segment. Memphis has that bad tweet, good person, bad tweet segment.
Yeah.
Did you guys do any of that?
We did.
Go check out the live show. Casey's on the Memphis Dynasty Warzone.
Yeah, Warzone guys.
Show. I had to miss that one, but
make sure you check that out. We'll have Memphis on soon. We've had a ton of other guests. Shout out to JB and the Dynasty Theory. Make sure you follow those guys. Shout out to Snoog and the Schmass Accept guys. Make sure you follow those guys. Got some more guests lined up. Got those guys coming back. And we'll have Memphis on. Got a lot of fun through the offseason. Grinding through these rookies still. We're getting more pieces to the puzzles. Of course, we have Austin Abbott. He does stuff with us and for us. He's not with another squad. Well, he's player profiler, helping those guys out, doing some stuff. So, and then, of course, Big D, you can catch him all the time. Follow him on the Twitter. So very much appreciate you guys. We will catch you next time. Peace.